I want to formally thank and acknowledge all of the distinguished participants at this year's 60th MBA conference. I think the protocol has been well laid down by both the chairman of the planning committee and the MBA president himself. And indeed, I want to adopt those protocols given the era that we probably don't have the opportunity to know everybody that's in the room. So I want to stand on existing protocol. It's with great pleasure that I address you for the very first time during the virtual annual general conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. This virtual format is, of course, a reminder of the times that we're all in, faced with one of the most serious health challenges of our lifetime. Let me start by acknowledging members of the outgoing executive of the NBA and congratulate you on the very successful completion of your service to one of the foremost esteemed professional associations in the country. I remember last year when you made attempts, and a very successful one, to bring together the largest NBA real-time conference in Lagos. We did, acknowledge at that time that what you were doing was you were bringing about 10,000 delegates at that conference. When indeed, even this year, you've doubled that number, and like I heard, you're expecting about 25,000 participants at this year's conference. I also want to thank you for the invitation that you extended to me this morning. But I would also like to put on record to congratulate your incoming executive as they prepare to assume the office and lead this association, a very distinguished one, like I mentioned, for the next 10 years. I'm sure elections are behind us, and what you will be expecting of them is service and great leadership. The theme for this year's conference is Step Forward. It is very fitting indeed. And like both Professor Koinsola and Paul Osoro, both SAN, had said, it's a reflection of what has happened the last 60 years and what you need to begin to take forward for the next 10, 20, and 60 years and beyond. And we're all where we are today, facing a global pandemic and facing serious global challenges. When we started this year, nobody imagined it will turn out this way, with the lockdowns and restrictions that has affected every part of our life, but we're all still moving on. Many of us have gotten used to doing worship, to doing social events, and even work virtually. And so this conference is not an exception to that. The legal profession, certainly, given the space that it holds as a foremost professional body in the country, has also seen some new dimensions. A couple of months, we've seen virtual court sittings, we've seen even sentences, virtually, and it certainly has reflected onto the real challenges that we all face as individuals. We've also had to adjust to a series of destructive tendencies as our way of life and as a government. And so, like what Professor Koinsola said, as we step forward, for the next 10, 20, 60 years, it's therefore apt that we look and we consider, how do we do the stepping forward at various levels. He had admonished and said that we need to step forward and see, even as Africa, as Nigeria, right, how do we begin to vaccinate our citizens? What kind of model, what kind of research do we need to have as we step forward to be able to bring about the solution to COVID-19? And for me, even watching CNN last night and early this morning, it's interesting to note that a solution that we had started in Lagos about 4 or 5 months ago, which we'll call the convalescent plasma, meaning that we've been able to separate the red blood cells from the white blood cells, and using the strong antibodies in the white blood cells for very, very severe COVID-19 patients, and which has all of a sudden increased and improved their antibodies and immunity, and they've gotten well. It's interesting to know that America is just getting to understand that, and they are talking about plasma. That for me is real stepping forward. That for me is what step forward truly, really it's about. Step forward means that how do I bring about clear fiber connectivity to all the 25 million listeners and delegates that would have to virtually connect to the NBA 2020 conference. And so for us as a government, stepping forward meaning that we need to develop a metropolitan fiber connectivity, which we have started, a 6,000 kilometer, and we're ring-fencing Lagos with fiber optics, and ensure that this new normal, this new reality that we have, you can indeed have 25,000 people with no disruption, with internet connectivity, and bringing the cost down for them to be able to afford it, and have access to it. In my view, that is what our stepping forward should be. But more importantly, what should stepping forward mean for the NBA? Like Professor Koinsola have also said, you are older than Nigeria, you are a big brother to Nigeria in terms of age. You are celebrating your 60th before Nigeria. So you need to show Nigeria real leadership. You need to show Nigeria that indeed you are a big brother. You need to show and take over and take your rightful position in the Committee of Nations and drive this country very well. I keep saying to a lot of people that when you want to do good business, get a good lawyer. When you want to do good policy, get a good lawyer. Everything starts, well, maybe not end, but it starts around you. And so for me, is to charge you that as you step forward to that real leadership that you have called yourself. That real leadership that you have said that indeed you are older than Nigeria, and nobody will contest that with you. And I want to say that indeed, we in Lagos are always truly delighted that you continue to give us this opportunity. We know that our Ministry of Justice is the biggest law firm in the country, and will continue to raise the bar and will continue to give them the ability for them to excel in that profession. Both also with the justices, we know how many we have in the state, and we'll continue to improve on those numbers so that that industry, that sector that we truly, really believe needs stepping forward, our government will continue to give you that enabling environment for you to do well and do what you need to do. And so I want to congratulate you. I want to admonish you. I want to say to you that we will be watching by the side as the Nigerian Bar Association indeed take that leadership position of stepping forward. And I wish you the very, very, very best of your 60th NPA annual conference. I thank you very much for inviting me, and I yield the floor back to the moderator. Thank you very much.